Here's one of our favorite clips from Neighborly Discourse with Billy and Steve.
You say that, but then you put out a meme that says 60% of Americans say abortion should be either always legal or legal most of the time. 63% oppose the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade decision. Those were high numbers, man. 60% and 63%. And so I wanted just to see if we can just spend some time talking about this for a second and really unpack that. The first thing I want to say is the second point where it's 63% opposed to Supreme Court overturning. My response to that is, in that 63%, if there was a follow-up question asking do they understand what Roe v. Wade does, I'd be very curious to know the answer to that. Because unfortunately, most of America are headline readers. And I do not believe if the national media was honest, literally honest, and they said that because Roe v. Wade is overturned, that means it goes back to the states and states get to make the decision. I believe that they were honest with this and they kept saying that statement over and over again before they say anything else, that this number would be much lower. Because I do not believe that the greater population realizes that all they're saying is that the states need to decide and not the federal government. So that's number one. So
well, this article was posted from Newsmax on an NBC poll.
So it's an NBC poll?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can pick and choose what we like about it. Oh, see, look, 39% of Americans approve Biden's job. See, even the Democrats think he sucks. Then you go on your point. 63 opposed. Well, that's just that's a liberal poll. It's biased. So we know most people don't really think that. So how are we going to decipher what's going to make our case and what's not? Because in my opinion, this is a biased poll. It's NBC. I'm not looking at NBC. I'm not checking out Fox, but I'm not going to contribute to an NBC poll.
But here's my thing. Can we get more data? Like, can we, in terms of polls, can you ask more questions?
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you, because when you read the 63% of the Supreme Court, first thing I thought was, they're saying that I oppose it because the world's falling apart. What the hell does this have to do with anything? They shouldn't overturn it. We've got kids starving. We've got inflation. Gas is $9 a gallon. This is nonsense. No, they shouldn't overturn it. So that could be a reason.
Right.
Not what do you truly feel inside. But we know NBC is liberally biased. So these are probably 100% of liberals taking the poll, and they're going to get their numbers skewed in their favor, which means if you take it as Biden is really sucking because even the liberals say he's horrible, then he might really, really be bad. But again, I'll to move the conversation, I'll pick and choose what proves my case and what doesn't. Same as someone reading this on the liberal bias will pick and choose what proves their case, as opposed to reading and understanding, which is what we do. Like I said, headline readers. I'm trying to move the needle on my side of things, but I will point out this is what people do, me included. What are you going to do to prove your point? Are you going to be honest and let the other people make their decision, or are you going to skew it a certain way?
So I'm going to feed this to the conversation just so that you guys have a better understanding of that 60%. Because he said it came from NBC, right? So I said, man, there's something, there has to be a poll out there that asks follow-up questions so that we have a better sense of what this is. And there actually is. Pew Research did this. And in fact, I'll put it up on our website because it's a fascinating poll because there's a lot of follow-up questions. And just their headline says, the headline for this says, Americans' Abortion Quandary. And I'm going to read you 3 stats. Before I do that, I'm just going to paint this picture for you, which is very few Americans are against abortion at all costs. Like, there are very few people out there like me. Okay? Very, very few. Like, I'm less than 10%. But there are very few people that are abortion at all costs. right? So if I'm at 8%, the people who are like me are 8%. The people who are abortion at all costs are 19%. And I feel like we had this conversation before here. So we are the extremes. We are the outliers, right? You got 20%
I mean, is
on one side.
19% extreme? Because illegal in most cases is just 27%. So 19 doesn't seem too far off.
Well, this is the point I'm going to make with this in a second. But
Okay.
so give me the benefit of the doubt for a
Yeah.
second. So 19%, let's say that's one extreme. Let's just say this. They're extreme in terms of all the positions that you can possibly have. One is like no, and one is like yes. One is like no for no at all costs, and one is yes at all costs. So that's the extreme positions, and then you have the variations in between, right? So from the extreme positions, 19% is on one side, 8% is on the other side. You take that's 27%. You get rid of 27%, and basically you have the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is what the rest of the country says. Okay? Let me just get these numbers right here. 44% of U.S. adults say abortion should be legal at 6 weeks. Okay, that's 6 weeks. So when you think of the
We have had this conversation.
the Texas bill, right, which is the heartbeat bill, which is really happens around 6 weeks. So 44% say that bill is okay. Okay. At 14 weeks, that 44% drops to 34%. So you have less people who are for the idea of a baby dying or a person being able to have an abortion from 14 weeks on. 34%. Now, to put that in perspective, the flip side of that is 66%. Remember what I told you earlier? 10 points of the majority and you have a landslide. So 66% of the country, 66% of America says, hey, 14 weeks is about all I can stomach. I'll give you one last stat, but then I want to go back to the second one the one I just mentioned, but I'll give you this one last stat. When you get to 24 weeks, that number drops to 22%. At 24 weeks, which we know we can take the baby out of the womb and the baby can survive, we're down to 22%. That is 78% of the country saying they can't stomach abortions after 22 weeks. I'm just painting a picture for you. And I'm telling you that this is pure research. These are their numbers that they came up with. And they're telling you that this is where America stands when it comes to the abortion issue. Now, I'm on the extreme, and I'm saying no abortion, no matter what. That's a life in there. But I'm outweighed by the American population that says, hey, we 24 weeks is probably the most I can handle, which is what Roe v. Wade said. Are you feeling me on this? And somewhere between 6 weeks and 24 weeks is the tolerance level for abortion. And even between 6 and 24, none of those numbers are more than 50%. The highest number is 6 weeks, and that's at 44% that say they're down with it. But it goes all the way down to 22% when you get to 24 weeks. The only point I'm making behind all these numbers is that when you see where it says 60% say that they're for abortion, understand what that abortion looks like, and that we are dealing. I say all this to show you how far left the left is. The arguments that we're having right now, the real arguments that we're having right now, is not for the 6-week abortion, which we have consensus with. Is not for the 12-week abortion, which we have consensus with. It's not even for the 24-week abortion. The argument that we're having right now is for the infanticide, where you have West Virginia governor saying, hey, if the baby's born and the doctors and the mother decide they don't want the baby, they can kill the baby. That a day before, Beto O'Rourke in Texas, when he was asked the question, hey, my birthday is January 30th. If January 29th, my mom would have wanted to abort me, what would you think about that? And he says, it's the mother's decision. This is the craziness that we're railing against. This far left. This is far left. This is craziness. Crazy.